Okay, welcome to my drawing tutorial video. Here is Bulbasaur. So I've been drawing some Pokemon just in my silly illustration style. You wouldn't realize, but I have been drawing this way for about 10 years now. I also do have a degree in fine art. You could argue maybe that was given inaccurately, but I am a fully qualified professional. I've also been working 5 years currently as a 3D artist, so I do other stuff other than illustration. So I'll just flick through. These are just silly Pokemons that I've currently drawn. Feel free to pause on any that you find exciting. That pun unintended. I can't end this recording now. That was too perfect. Cubone. I'll go back to coughing. So I'll just go through my thought process. I've got 3 Pokemon planned. It was Meowth, Dratini, and maybe we'll find out what else I picked. There's my work meetings. We'll ignore those. So great for the first video. So I'm not doing this with any serious intent. I don't know, we'll probably get like 5 views, but hopefully those 5 people, it's helpful for you 5 people. A good reflection now that I've ended. So just before we get into the drawings, this is a Pikachu that I drew initially, and I used reference images, and I found it was just too good. I don't know if is that not modest enough. It was just too good. It didn't have like a real like silly appeal. It wasn't whimsical enough. And then I drew again. So as a tip, I suppose, is draw the reference, like almost trace it, like learn how something works, and then you can deviate from it. And then some core aspects of making a drawing look silly is, you know, just the far apart eyes. Everything's had a bit of a wonk. The arms, I think arms and fingers and toes, like these really help sell. And I did it a little bit on this Pikachu, but it feels a bit out of place. And that's my general advice. You know, Mewtwo has the eyes here. Some of them just, I mean, they just look like what they're meant to look like, but I think a few of them are fairly successful, if I don't say so myself. So I've opened up Microsoft Paint. Here's the tutorial. This is where we begin. This canvas is 1080 by 1080 because that's a resolution that works for Instagram. It's also just high quality. I've put a box generally in the middle to leave like a bleed. This is just a design thing, so I don't go over the edge. It just keeps everything kind of like framed. I delete it before the end. It erases away. It's not an exact science. And then a professional tip for using Microsoft Paint is don't use the brushes because they're horrible. You get this anti-aliasing. So you'll find that when you draw a line, it's all nice and dark, but then it blurs out. And this is just 101 really, but you get this awkward pixelated edge. I recommend instead to use the pencil. And you can see that by drawing boxes, there is no such aliasing. You do perfect coloring in every time, as long as you don't have a random pixel locked in. Okay, so with this in mind, I do maximum brush size, and then for my style, you can press on your keyboard if you have it, Control and plus, and this will make your brush bigger than the default. So this is default maximum size. Then press it 4 times. That might have come up on the microphone, and you get a bigger brush. So it minimizes the amount of detail you can put in because you can't do such fine lines, but I find it helps. So it just underneath me here, I have the other Pokemon. I'll now make myself a bit smaller. We're going to do Meowth. Let's go for Meowth. I have a reference. Here he is. This is the boy. I'm just getting this from a Pokédex website. So the key features to look out for. I mean, it's fairly simple, but I'm gonna just in case nobody knows. You just look at what is key. So the body doesn't matter. The fingers, he's already got the weird toes. So we should probably make those toes weirder. Is really what we have to do. The ears, the coin, the whiskers, the fangs. These are like the identifiable. You know, if you were to draw like a Pictionary, draw Meowth, you have to make somebody guess what you're drawing in the fastest time possible. You wouldn't do this. Or maybe you would, but you'd be wrong. instead, the fastest thing you do is, you know, you draw. You want immediately like the thing, right? I feel every Pokemon kind of has a thing, you know. Some don't, but for me, so let's use that as a thing, right? So basically, I just start on. There's no logic to it, and I just try and get good shapes. Going over the lines is fine. I try not to use any erasing, and when I do erase, I'm basically just I have black and white selected. If you right click, you color in your other color, but because the canvas is white, it just does it. Okay, and then right, not to draw from too much from the reference. We just want some spikes. I see here we've got a problem already. It's gonna. It doesn't matter really. There we go. It just would have caused the coloring in problem, but it's meant to be a bit bad, so it's fine. And then we'll draw the rest of his face. I think we go bigger. I think big head is more charming. Oh, and transparent selection as well will also help in various things. There are some times that I will have like maybe drawn like the medal up here, colored it in, and then placed it atop like this. This can just help you as well with layering, because there's no layers in Microsoft Paint, which is kind of also again the benefits. The idea is that anybody can draw bad because it's meant to look bad. Right, see, there we go. I mean, Meowth is easy. I just literally traced it. It's almost too good. We're gonna go for the cat eyes, and then he has very long eyes, and there we go. We want whiskers, and I like to at least do an element of like somewhat what is it? Somewhat accurate to the source, where they do go over a little bit. Right. And the one thing, he looks weird, right? But like weird in a bad way. It's because he doesn't have ears. So if I want to kind of do this just right. There we go. And now he's looking up. Well, he's not looking good. Maybe you might have to redraw this one. Sometimes I do draw the same thing a couple times just to see which version is better. I find cauliflower hands, I don't know what the official term is, broccoli hands. It's just when you draw your fingers, it's almost like you're just swirling around, but you kind of stop before you do the spiral. And I find that's my that's my style for fingies. And very long arms. I'm going to give him a little skinny body. Okay. And I think, I mean, oftentimes I'm just kind of referencing the source image, but I think deviating from like a pose or giving them some kind of funny pose is also really good. I've got no tips for that currently because I'm not currently doing it, but there are some Pokemons here we go. So really silly feats. You just kind of you want to exaggerate. Is that, that's not good. That is not good. Okay, right, well, we're in it now. That's kind of the point, right? I'm going to make his medallion a bit bigger. I want it to look... Oh, there's more lines in it that I remembered. This is kind of the good bit of using the reference image because you're like, wait a minute. It's got like 4 lines in it. I would just put that over the top of the other one. And now no one will know. Easy. Okay, and I try as much as possible to use the default Microsoft Paint colors because I feel like they at least feel basic. There's something like not nostalgic but familiar with, I think, the default paint colors, at least maybe to certain people. And I hope the strict palette helps with that appeal. But sometimes you can make your own and you can bring up this edit colors and you get this little swatch and try as much as I can to be accurate with it. Okay, I feel like the ear needs to extend because that is annoying me. Mouth, easy, pink, and then desaturated dark pink. Done. And there we have a Meowth. Now, this is where a lot of the fiddling around comes in, because I sometimes just edit. I sometimes just do this. Ideally, this is not the ideal method because it's in Microsoft Paint, but I feel like it's a testament to skill. It's a testament to drawing capability. I feel like if you can do this. Right, we're gonna round off these pixels. There we go. Just keeps them a bit more in frame. And then I've just been adding little lines, depending on what type they are. It doesn't. I might go back and delete all these little like lines and things, but I don't know. I feel like it just adds something. You know what I'm gonna do as well? We're gonna make him. I think this looks better already. I think this is far more successful now. All right, we'll go and add that. There we go. He's a little bit more plump. He's got a bit less length. I feel like long Meowth was bad Meowth. I'm gonna fix his eyeball as well. I'm a bit of a perfectionist. You wouldn't believe so. You wouldn't believe it from the way that I draw. All right, we'll save Meowth. Here we go. Hopefully that was useful. Whether or not, I don't know. If anything, it could be just a nice watch along. We'll go for a simple one next. I think now that I've laid off some of the explained some of my like thought processes off the cuff. Bear in mind, this is not rehearsed. Feel like now we can basically draw together. That feels like I've written a script. Right, so drawing together time. Dratini, easy, right? I mean, again, the core principles of Dratini is big ears and big nose, and then it's the rest of him is just tail. And we can do that trick where we use the tool to drag it over the top of his head. Actually, that's kind of it. That's kind of what you want to be doing. I think you gotta let the rhythm flow. So we want. There we go. It's not quite right. There's so many. I mean, it's always the thing with proper illustrators. People who do it properly is I draw the same line like 50 times to get like the exact curve they need. Whereas it's too snake-like. It's too much. All right. Oof. I feel like you got to do it in 2 halves. Or in sections. That way you don't lose your progress when you do one good line. All right. The amount of concentration is palpable. Okay. Okay, before we go with that. That feels I wonder if Dratini was based on that like weird like snake myth from like Japanese. Like I think Dunsparce is based on it, but I feel like Dratini kind of is as well. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I apologize because I also don't. Right. There's one ear, and we could do the other ear, right? So we can, once this is colored in, we can, bish bash. It's almost too good again, all right? That means we have to mess it up. Big nose. There's something about Pokemon, the early generations, where they have sometimes just really weird features, like a big nose. This is almost like a Ditto, not Ditto, Diglett, or like Mankey also has a snout. It's a little bit bizarre. And what is it as well with first generation Pokemon all like having a name beginning with Gol. Gol, Gol. There's like Golbat, Golduck. There's another one. I'm sure there's a third one. One second. There's a. Where's my Pokédex? We'll just do a search for Gol. Golduck. Golem. Goldeen. Golbat. I mean, I'm not making this up. Why are there so many Gols? What was their fascination? Okay, we're gonna get the right color for it. It's on the bluer side. Rather than there we go. See, it takes experience. You just got to get good. All right, and then his whole eye. There's basically no pupil in his eye, so we'll do that. And then, oh, luckily this purple from Meowth's mouth comes in perfect. We'll do some lights in the eyes. And pro tip, make a very, very light white and just color in your white bits. So that when you do this, oh, my background wasn't white, is the problem there. When you do this, you get a good... See, that's quite not right, is it? That's not quite right. We'll do that. It just has to work. That's way too big. And then... I think that is pretty good. I'm sorry, but like in terms of... You know it's Dratini, but it looks awful. It looks dreadful. And I feel like that's perfect. Alright, what type is Dratini? Did dragon exist at this time? What was that? Okay, I don't know what that was. Dragon did exist. I meant to be like a Pokemon expert, and I can't remember if like dragon exists. Alright, well, dragon type is going to be these spirals here. I don't want to do my Windows updates. Oh my gosh. I am not ready for Windows 11. You can tell that. Tell that to Windows, please. Okay, next one. Did you feel like you learned anything? How long have I been currently recording? How long is this video going to be? I don't know. There's no 16 minutes. Okay, 17 nearly. I won't be editing this. I doubt that we'll try and do Sandshrew and end it within the 20. Okay. So do you feel like you've got it now? Now you could draw this almost like for like. You could pretty much just draw him exactly, but I think you'd end up with a like an artwork that's a bit too good. I mean, this isn't an example of what good is, but you know what I mean. So we want to hit that somewhere between this and this. Is my usual standard. Because like the Pikachu example from before, which I will get back up. You know, there's the good Pikachu, and then there's like the good Pikachu, right? And like one of them wasn't using the reference. One of them is just from my own brain because everybody knows Pikachu. So I feel like a core thing for Sandshrew is he's got this little face. And I'm like not looking at the reference unless I don't remember. But like, don't let your brain fill in too many gaps. We give him really big eyes. No. Not always about big eyes. I think it's sometimes the eye shape is sometimes like way more crucial. And that is a very like Sandshrew eye shape. Okay. I feel like if I give them like something comical poses, like a really hunchback. And see, I wouldn't remember that he's got these like muscle arms. Like, when you actually think about it, he is weird. But I'm just going to give him these little claws, and that's not reference. That's just like, that's just going for it, right? Also for funny stories, now that you've got like 17 minutes in, I just emailed Nintendo. I've currently emailed them asking, hey, I do drawings. Would you like Pokemon card artwork? I'm hoping that if I can just send them a couple drawings of some characters, you know, with backgrounds on and with, I don't know, you know, actual like card looking things, then they might say yes. Because I know there's artists like, is it Imakuni? I mean, just in case unless something bad comes up. Not bad, I have work stuff on my computer as well. Imakuni, he always does these really like weird, oh come on, like weird artworks kind of, and there's like there is a style to them, and I feel like that is quite emblematic. You're not able to see this, I apologize. I realized my head was in the way. There we go. It's quite emblematic. This is basic. That looks like what I do, you know. And then there's like the duo. I think some of these are hand drawn, I'm sure. You know, those are iconic artworks. And Nintendo, Pokemon, Game Freak, they don't really do that kind of stuff anymore. And I know there's big collectors for that. And I wonder if maybe my old artwork could inspire new collectors to collect all the weird pixel artworks. And then means for my Pokemon card collection, I can have my own artwork in it. That would be crazy. That'd be so cool. You'd be like, hey, I designed this Pokemon card, you know? Anyway, dream big. Dream big. All right, we're going to color him in. We're going a bit bolder than the reference image. Did I just hit the microphone? I'm going to fix his ear a bit on this right-hand side. Just make it look like it's part of his head. And again, using the default colors, you can go quite far with very little. And then he has dark eyes, almost black, but blue. And it's really difficult when they don't have pupils because you can't make them look the wrong way. Like his eyes, there's without like, ooh, you know, without just putting you can't even see that. Can't even see that. Right, let's color them in light blue just so we can. Like, it's not like I can do this. That is better. maybe we just don't follow the rules. All right, and then I'm just going to very briefly, what does he look like? I'm just going to do this very, like, not good. Just for, you know, like, accuracy's sake. And I don't fill all the lines in because that would be too much. See, I only looked at like where his head was, and I've not really looked at the rest. I feel like it would deviate too much. Okay. We're going to give him, I think there's a lot of personality you can tell with eyes. We're going to give him some different eyes. I'm just going to save this real quick. I saved it over blank. Oh no. We didn't saved it over the wrong file. Alright, because you can do like little eyes. That kind of gives him this like look, right? But if you give him big eyes, now he looks cute. And it's you can go for it. You can make him do this again. That looks cute. There's so much character with eyes. You know, really on the sides, looking up. Oops, looking down. Looking to the side. I mean, you could just, this is almost like as good as a video game. Maybe this is like perfect for an animation. I might just make him go like side to side, like, ooh. Ooh. Okay, right, we'll draw the eyes in. I think little eyes. Little eyes, but far apart. A bit bigger. I think he's cute. Like, by default, Sandshrew is a cute Pokemon. It gives him the element of, like, looking like a cute Pokemon. Right, we've missed his ears. There he is. And as he's a ground type, we'll put little squares on him. Oops. Just to really hammer it home. Okay. Well, that was that. That was that. This is just a test YouTube video, basically. I've done a bit of YouTube in the past. I've done a bit of Twitch streaming in the past, but I felt I've never really found anything. But this is something I really find enjoyable, and I'll see if anybody else finds it enjoyable too. And if there's just 5 people, and even if you think it's bad, even if this just makes you think, wow, this is bad, I can do better than that, then you know what? I've made you do drawings. Ha 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 ha. I've made you actually be motivated. If anything, now you're being creative out of spite. You're like, wow, this guy thinks he's a clever drawer. I can do much better. And lo and behold, you have been inspired. Anyway, so I hope this was inspiring. Do I have another camera screen? I do. I won't use it just in case it's from my old Twitch screen. Okay, that was it. I don't know how to do videos or outros. I'm not going to edit this. So goodbye.